Good morning and welcome back to the Opportunistic Trader for September 6th, a Thursday, a quick week with Labor Day thrown in. I feel like I'd like to trade a little bit more this week. It's been a good week for us overall. We are 7 wins, no losers. I think I should go into retirement. It could probably only go downhill from here, but we'll see where we go from there. We have no trades on right now this morning. A little bit upset because I am a little bit bullish S&P here relative to the action. I like S&P over NASDAQ. I discussed that over the last 3 or 4 days. I still like that trade. I think it still performs. I would be a seller of NASDAQ and a buyer of S&P. But if you want to get more granular, I would be a buyer of big cap industrial beaten up names, which are no fun to trade for our trading community. But that's where I would be, and I would, lay off the NASDAQ. NASDAQ may have a bit of a bounce, maybe 30 to 50 basis points higher today. I'd be a seller of that. And again, I like the S&P, the way it held yesterday. Maybe we trade up into the middle 90s here and see if we could get back above 2,900 and take out the highs at some point. Got a big, data coming up, non-farm tomorrow, and today is the ADP at 8:15, and overall, it's sort of the same trend going across Asia. Again, making lows on the Hang Seng, making lows on the Shanghai, and the Nikkei languishing lower but not making lows, closer to flat on the year, down slightly. Overseas in Europe overnight, the DAX took out 12,000 at about 3:30 a.m. I happened to be up. I don't know why, but I was up, and I saw that, and then that market held and is about 20 higher. That market is completely oversold. I'd be potentially a buyer in here of that. I wouldn't buy strength, but I'd buy weakness there. Going across to our markets, S&P's been both sides of unchanged about 3 times overnight. It's trading nearer the highs at 28.91. Expect it to get up into the middle 90s here as long as nothing crazy comes out. And yesterday was an interesting day that Vince and I will discuss. And Vince, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me, as always, sir.
Yes, and yesterday was a complete obliteration on on the high-flying FANG group. It's funny, we kind of spotted it early when we were talking yesterday morning that the FANGs, for the first time that we were watching it over the last month, were all in one direction, which was down. And usually they're all, over the place. They're buying, Facebook selling Netflix. They're always buying Apple, so they're buying Apple. And
internal rotation was the phrase you used to describe it. Yeah.
So, but interesting, today it's almost the opposite. All the FANGs are up. The market's really not up a lot. NASDAQ turned firm here. It's up about 750. So it's outperforming the S&P slightly, but there should be some good trades in that today. We should be volatile, but again, I'm not long. I wanted to be long S&P, that is. I will look to get long against NASDAQ at some point. I'd like to see the NASDAQ trade up 20 to 30 points, maybe put a short in there and, buy some S&Ps against it, depending on where it is. Today is not an expiration day for options. We will look at the straddle again just to get some pricing, because that's something that's important for us, or important for our community to gauge, is how to size positions, how to put positions on, and what kind of stops to use as far as levels. But we do that basis the volatility. Now, that's ever changing, and one of the hardest things to do is manage that. But we try to do that every day, and if we're looking for a 7 to 10 point move in the S&P, we'll size, or you should size your positions basis that move that you will see. Now, that always changes. Like yesterday, the market traded, believe it or not, I think it traded, I don't know exactly what the low was yesterday, but I think it was in the middle 70s, maybe 77 handle, maybe a bit lower. And, that was down a lot more than people thought. Vol popped very hard on that. And then literally trading died yesterday. This is all equities I'm talking about, died for the last couple of hours. And then, discussing something that I think is really interesting, which we have the ability to see off the floor, is the market on close imbalances, which really, don't hold a huge weighting, but sometimes you can get a little bit of a lean off it. So we like to always watch that to, get a little bit of what we think is an advantage. It doesn't really work too well, but yesterday was pretty amazing. It was like 300 for sale all afternoon. Then at 3:45, somehow $1.5 billion walks in for sale. Okay, so now we're at about a $2 billion for sale number, which is, market moving. I think it's position moving. It's VWAP moving. So, that came for sale. Market traded a little bit heavy. And then, like, in the last 2.5 minutes, it paired off about 1.5 billion of that imbalance quickly, which is amazing to me. So I don't even know if that stuff is actually real, but that was interesting takeaway yesterday, just looking at the close to see that come in. Funny, tech just traded so heavy yesterday, and today it's, I wouldn't say no seller, but no seller at this level right now. So, that's what I see. Looking at bonds, it's been a no trade for a while. We're around 290 on the 10-year. In no man's land. Maybe we'll get some type of movement today. We have ADP looking for the same, I think 190 or something that they always look for, or 110. It's been the same literally for 7 to 10 years of creating 200,000 jobs every month. Doesn't matter if the unemployment rate goes up or down. Somehow they get that 200,000. I think they have it like Houdini in their pocket. So a number that used to really move markets, I don't think is that market moving. It's going to be interesting to see the core rate, see where that ends up landing. But I would say very Trump-esque. It'll probably be on, the lows of the move, and everybody has a job. I just don't know where, and
Right.
it's it's going to be interesting to look at.
You may have your S&P or ES move while we're on the phone here. ADP does come out at 8:15.
Yes.
If it's a non-event, it's a non-event. But
S&P is actually ticking around the highs of the day, trading around 92.5. I expect it to trade on this move up into the 95 area potentially. I'm not happy because I really want to be long, and I'm not. So I'm going to sit it out for now. Looking across my board, I think the biggest thing to talk about, but I really want to involve you in it, so I want to roll through a little bit before we get to our conversation and
Sure.
talk about it. But
I'm with you.
the most interesting trade is crypto, but I don't want to talk about that yet. I want to talk about it with you because I know you have insight. But scanning to your favorite, gold is up in the air, up 850 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Back at 1210, and then oil, which looking at the weekly trade is really interesting in my book. It traded on Tuesday, which is really like Monday because there was no Monday. So Tuesday was the first day of the week. Traded Tuesday up into the 71.5 area, has been bidless ever since, and just can't get out of its own way. So that market is flat as well. Currencies look flat across the board. We're waiting on the ADP in a couple of minutes. I don't think it's really too market moving, but I wanted to open it up to you, get your thoughts, see what you're thinking today, see how our community could make money, and it's on you, Vince. You're up.
Okay. Before I throw gold numbers at you, because gold might be a good swing trading product today, although it's not on my radar. Well, actually, let's get gold out of the way. 1204 is a key number, basis Dece. Above 1204, and it negates downside momentum. So does that mean we can't go below 1204? Again, no. But above 1204, you should be looking to trade. If you're a technician or a person who likes to fade extremes, 1204 to 1211, 1213 is a range. As we get into the low teens, it's something that's worth fading. Above 1215, look for 1221. Below 1204 is like a flat to slightly bearish area. Below 1201, then we got 1192, 1195 on the area. So inside out, trade 1204 to 1212 in my mind. And that's not just my mind, that's just from a very expensive technician who knows what he's talking about. And that's pretty much it. Above 1215, be leery. 1221 is a previous high in that area. You could take profits or you can get long above it. It's up to you. But I think there's a trade in there today of selling gold here with a tight stop higher and or, buying it above 1215. That's what I would do if there's a gun to my head, but nothing is on my radar outside of the technical stuff. I want to mention the FANGs. I came across something that I thought was interesting and is relevant to your commentary. If you take the A's out of FANG, Apple and Amazon, if you take those two stocks out, minus Amazon and Apple, the rest of the FANGs are nearly identical and up until 2018. Now there's a big difference though. They are off the highs. And by that I mean, without Apple and Amazon, those stocks are net unchanged for the last few months. With Apple and Amazon, you have a never-ending stairway to heaven. Point being, to your rotation within the sector. That's the only thing I can add to the
I see that. I actually think Facebook, which is bouncing ever so slightly this morning, 40 cents, is actually through the lows of this move. It traded down off the original Senate hearings down to about 148 and change, which was, I guess, obviously a great buy. It traded back into the 190 handle off of that, and now we're back to the 167 handle. Potentially with some bad news or a heavy market, that thing could trade back down into the 150 handle. Does not look strong. Google, which I don't really trade, doesn't look strong as well. Obviously, you discussed Amazon and Apple. It's the two horsemen that are just racing each other to, trillion-dollar valuations. So, it's interesting. And, our favorite, Tesla, is basically on the lows of the recent move, $100 lower than when Elon Musk lost his mind and tweeted out whatever that he had financing.
Right.
Maybe he was talking about his apartment, but he didn't.
Exactly.
He didn't have $70 billion in financing and then to finance the debt. So that being said, it's a good observation in the FANG. It's something that we've really been on top of. I'm going to be much more active myself trading the FANGs in the equity chat room moving forward in here, and I think there's opportunity. I think there's opportunity there. One thing I wanted to discuss and get your thoughts on is, we've been discussing or been all over these foreign markets and how bad they are. The only thing is, I think it could be a caveat to us making higher new highs, because if they rally in any sense, then we're going to take off. So it'll be interesting to look at. But I think the MSCI is down. I think we were throwing this around, but I think it's down 7 days in a row. I think China's been down multiple days in a row, and the DAX is just smashed. And the MSCI, I saw a stat yesterday, the emerging EM is down about 11% for the year, and the S&P was up 8.5 at some point yesterday. And that divergence is incredible, as well as the divergence between that and the NASDAQ, which has been, on fire. So, these are things we're keeping our eye on. Again, in the back of our mind, we always are looking at VIX and volatility, and the skew there between front and back is extremely high. And
Right.
meanwhile, gold is taking a new high as we speak. I don't see the number. Mike, did we get the number on ADP? I think we must have.
ADP payrolls 163,000, expected 200K.
Yeah, so
Bullish.
Yeah.
I just say bullish.
It's always bullish, but gold is at through your levels at 1212 and change. So I don't know
That's
if it's
right.
a level to short or what you're looking to do there. That's the only thing, actually, believe it or not, you're getting props today because that's the only thing on my screen moving at all. So
yeah, it's a short below the teens, but I keep saying things like gold hates the teens. That doesn't mean it's bearish when it hits the teens. It means it will skate through the teens if it gets in there frequently for a day trade. Where it settles, I do not know, but you could scale into a short between here and 1213, and you would be wise, I think, to flatten and consider going long above 1215. That's the play, I think. But the fact that ADP is out and gold has moved a little bit more, even though emerging markets are doing nothing, says to me, if you're bullish gold, buy stocks. So I'm not belaying, not slender in gold here. Just saying it is a range, and the downside is capped, for lack of a better word, or stopped, as long as we stay above 1204, and we're now probably going to be in a new trading range for the next couple of days. Tradable as well, actually.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. It looks like a good trade. If again, you're my gold guru, but for me, I'm a fader up in here. I wouldn't sell it here, and if it went higher, get stopped out and then buy it. I don't think
No.
work.
Every number I give is support and resistance. So you can either sell strength or you can sell it back below 1201. I'm not 1201. Back below 1209, something like that. It's a matter of style and comfort. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm looking for a trade this morning. I can't, again, I can't see it. I wanted to be long S&Ps. For a trade, I don't want to really be long them here. I do think they trade a little higher, but the risk reward in the trade is not there, so I'm leaving that alone. Kind of favorable to oil, but don't have a position there. And we missed. I guess, did you have positions coming in gold this morning, or?
No, I had nothing. I had an S&P trade that, per our conversation, my system's not optimized for, so I got stopped out. Then it dropped about 5-10 handles. And I had a CVS trade. And for those of you in the equity room, if I get a signal on a stock, it doesn't necessarily mean, it means if I'm right, I'm going to be right quickly. If I'm wrong, I'm going to be wrong quickly. It's really based on volatility. It says buy straddles. And sure enough, the CVS signal, it dropped 40 cents, then rallied basically $1. So I got stopped out. And I have nothing on my radar today in the normal markets that I watch, but I do have some FANGs that are not FANGs, some emerging markets that are on my radar, like the Canadian dollar. It's based in an area where we might get a signal soon.
Where is it? I saw it traded in the 132 handle early
well,
yesterday.
It seems to be that it's stabilized after the sell-off in anticipation of new news. Let me see where I have it right now. I have it as, Canadian dollar versus US dollar, 75.86, depending on how you look at it. So it's been in a range of, say, 76 to 75.70 for the last 2 days.
Yeah, I look at it the other way.
No, understood.
I look at it like 132, 131. Yeah. So I saw it trade up into the 132 handle yesterday, and then we got some news that Trump was posturing that, once again, he has the deal. They do have the deal, and I do think the market will take it positively. I just don't know if that deal comes today or tomorrow or when it comes. But, that may be an emphasis for a little bit of a rally in here. And I know Mike, who is my partner and works with me on the desk here, was talking Turkish lira, which no one's talking about anymore, but it's I think it's in the middle six handle.
That's actually on my radar for different reasons, I'm sure, than Mike's looking at it. But I mean, come on, it can't keep staying there and have that be a positive effect on the world government, on the world economy, right?
Yeah, I maybe off the next news it trades up, but it's amazing how that just is off the radar. No one even is mentioning it. And we were quoted on CNBC in an article that they did was front page on their internet site about Turkey and how their economy is going to affect the world and this and that, and then overnight it died, which it probably should have. But it's interesting that's still up in those levels. And
the mainstream media isn't getting enough search engine optimized hits on it, so they shifted to pot stocks. That's basically what's going on.
Yeah, I don't trade those. Tony does. He's awesome. He's in our equity chat room, and he also does webinars on our site, and he's been all over that sector, and he's been very, very bullish. And I saw yesterday that there were squeezes all over the place in those stocks. So again, I don't trade them, but people in our room do, and Tony is very, very versed. The one thing that I really want to talk about today, which we haven't even really discussed, and it's my fault because I said let's wait on it, is the whole thing with this cryptocurrency and where it is, where it's going, what our thoughts are. In our equity chat room, we've been very, very negative on basically all altcoins, which have now pretty much made lows of the move for the last year to year and a half. And we've been giving thoughts that for us, we're staying away from it, and it's no good. And yesterday, Goldman Sachs, who was planning to potentially do a trading desk, hired some talent in, and they've realized that there's really no market hedge, and there's no out, and there's no way to borrow this stuff, and it's too risky of a venture, and they don't really believe in it. So I think even though it's down a quick 1,000 points, it's still in the range of where it is. I think we go into the low 5,000s, maybe even lower, testing to see if people are in here that are getting hurt. Interestingly enough, believe it or not, the early adapters and the people that were trading this thing or investing in this thing early on, they're obviously suffering because they had huge profits that they didn't take potentially. But worse than that is there are so many bad longs in that market. I mean, I have family members that are long from 15,000, obviously, hopefully not sizable, but they're no longer talking about it, and they're still long, and they're just sitting in it, and it's now
you'll be
6,000.
sitting next to them at Thanksgiving, and they'll be asking you questions.
No, they won't. They believe.
Last Thanksgiving I got those questions.
Oh, without
Should
a doubt,
I buy?
Everybody. I stayed away from it for a number of different reasons, which obviously I'm kicking myself for. But I had a friend who I was at a party, and he was telling me about his Bitcoin position and how well he did. And he goes, the problem was he made all this money, and then his account got hacked, and the money was gone, literally gone. I go, well, what do you do? He's like, I had nothing I could do. And then the next time I saw him, he goes, the money came back into my account. I'm like, awesome. Yay. I said, that's the market I want to trade.
Yeah, it's OTC without an ISDA. It's OT3 without an ISDA.
So I think it's interesting. I think Bitcoin is in the I think it's about 6,300 and change. But all these altcoins like Ether and is through the low. And Bitcoin Cash and the other altcoins are all on the lows. So it'll be interesting to see if it can actually hold up in here. and where we go from here.
Yeah, can I add something on the Bitcoin stuff from a 10,000 foot view, Larry?
Sure.
I think first of all, when you talk granular about it, I think people should pay attention, and they should also pay attention to what we have in the crypto chat room when people are trying to educate themselves. But my expertise, for lack of a better word, is in market structure. And since 20,000, now mind you, I did not buy it on the way up. Since 20,000, I have been leery of it. And that's on the record. That's just not me just saying that. That's an interview I did discussing market structure problems. And for people that are trying to understand what some of the event-driven movers are behind this market, including Goldman, I want to take you back for not down the rabbit hole too much, but just to say this. Remember when Jamie Dimon says crypto is evil? And then a week later, crypto futures were going to be listed. And then a week after that, Jamie Dimon was like, that's a good thing. I want to throw something at you as a person who's been through this and watched market structure conspire against retail investors. Bitcoin, like it or hate it, was something that made people money. The government wants to regulate it. This is not a paranoid statement. The government wants to regulate it. They want to regulate it because people are getting ripped off with their money disappearing and reappearing. But they can't regulate it because it's decentralized and it's global. So they create a tracking stock or a future that settles in cash. That creates a venue for American retail to put their money into it without getting involved in OTC and scams. Now you have pent-up demand being sold to buy crypto, and now they have a vehicle. So now banks like Goldman Sachs will say, and this is not a judgment, this is just the way the world works. We have a future now, and that future product is a tail regulation on the dog that is crypto. And so the salesmen start coming out and saying, buy crypto, and people start buying it. And then the traders on the desk next to the salesman say, wait a minute, we can't lay this off the way we lay off other stuff because we don't have natural sellers to us like we do, say, with gold miners or oil producers. We've got to go and start our own mines or buy one of these server mines. And that ain't so easy to do.
But
and so what you have is you have a coin that goes from 20,000 to 10,000 based on the reduction in volatility itself because you have a market maker in there. And then the market maker says, crap, I really can't lay this off. I'm going to pull back a little bit because my salesmen aren't getting buyers. Or if they are getting buyers, I can't get someone to sell to me. And boom, you have another collapse. Now, that collapse, I'm not saying is permanent, but I am saying this. Liquidity begets liquidity. And without liquidity, you lose interest. And without interest, you have sell-offs and sideways moves. And until the banks secure natural sellers to them, call it producers, I use that term a lot, until the banks can get a client base that will sell them so they can have inventory to sell retail in their back-to-back flow trading model, they're going to back off because there's lower lying fruit out there. The moral of the story is, as a person who has traded gold for 30 years, you're creating a generation of gold bugs that are waiting for it to go back to 20,000. Like the gold bugs are like, oh, gold's going back up to blah, blah, blah. Well, there's a ton of people out there that are now long crypto waiting for the bounce, and the press has moved on to pot. I'm not saying not to buy it, but I am saying if you do buy Bitcoin, you're not buying Bitcoin, you're buying a cash-settled asset that is not Bitcoin. And events will drive liquidity, and liquidity will drive investment, for lack of a better word. That's all I got to say.
Well, I got a question on that because obviously we do this every day, but I kind of disagree in the sense where you're saying there's no seller or there's no, what makes this product interesting, okay, in itself is there's creation of the product every day. So there are natural sellers every day.
There are. But
so people are mining. People are mining the coins. Okay,
right.
What they're paying, which Mike and I unfortunately, we started looking at this at 900 on Bitcoin, and we had a producer in here, and he was 900 was the price, and it was costing him 400 or 300 to make it.
Yes.
It was a spread, but then the markets got much tighter, and everyone got involved, and now it's more money to mine the coin. It's not
like $1,000 at least.
It's
right.
No, to mine the coin is over the price of the Bitcoin. So
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is a technology war at this point. It's who has the most efficient servers, or do you have a high net worth client like those twins that already have Bitcoin and want to hedge it?
Yeah. But my thought is the reason, in my mind, for the market inefficiencies and a lot of the reasons why this product probably will never work. Okay. I mean, Bitcoin will be here, but it's never going to work as a currency because it's too volatile and nobody's going to be able to take it. But what makes it very difficult is you can't, people don't understand the reason why, like these pot stocks, and again, I don't trade them, but the reason why they're going parabolically up is one reason and one reason only, that the shorts are getting their head handed to them. They're getting annihilated. And in Bitcoin, it's impossible to short this thing. I mean, it is virtually, other than Bitcoin itself, but any of these other coins, and I mean every other coin.
You're not disagreeing with me. I mean, I know that there's supply out there from the mine side. I know I'm interrupting you, but we're not disagreeing. We use different terms. The miners create the coins. They don't create them continuously. It takes time. And it's a fragmented industry. I go back to market structure. The Bitcoin production is like floor traders.
Yeah, but I don't think it takes time. They create coins on a daily basis. They're coming every day.
They do. Do they create 10,000? It takes a lot of electricity to do that. And
I mean, I don't know. Listen, I don't know the numbers, but the numbers are there, and they're creating it. What the market does not have is it does not have shorts in the market. There are no shorts. It's no way to short it. If I want to,
I agree. There's no way to short it.
That's the reason why this product is not working. When they make shorting available, the market will trade.
We're going to agree for different reasons. I'm saying that there's no one out there to short it. Okay, you're not contradicting yourself, but you're saying, and I'm going to fill the gap here. You're saying miners are creating it, no one is shorting it.
Right, but
and you know who should be selling it? Yeah. The natural sellers are people that bought it, like those Facebook twin guys. I forget their names. Those guys, people who bought it. What's the name?
Winklevoss.
Yeah, the Winklevoss. Look, Goldman needs to get all the high net worth people that have these coins to deposit with them like a stock, so they can use it as collateral to short to their retail buyers. And the nature of Bitcoin is such that it's basically giving the finger to the banks. It's decentralized, and it is hard to short because there's no available stock, for lack of a better word. So miners are mining it. I'm not arguing with you. There's people out there that are natural long.
But that's the natural. Listen, they have the natural seller. Okay, the natural seller is the producer.
But it's fragmented.
But Vince,
you can't disagree with me and say it's not fragmented.
I'm totally disagreeing on the fact that this is a produced product the same way gold is. Every day there are net sellers of gold because people are taking it out of the ground. There are net sellers in this market for people that are running businesses and producing coins through energy. So that's your net, number one, that's your net seller, okay? Your net buyer is the public, and your net buyer is people that want to speculate. That's your net buyer. What you're missing is an efficient market that you're able to have public or people shorting. Like let's say I want to short Bitcoin. I mean, I could do it on the CME, but any of these other coins, which are mostly frauds, I can't short them.
No, I'm not even talking about the other coins, Larry. I'm with you on that. I won't play both. You can't trade the other coins. You get run over either way. I agree with you, but educate me on Bitcoin, and I'm not being sarcastic.
No, listen, I can't educate you. I could just educate you on market structure and the way the markets work. And the way the market is working is you have a natural producer that hits the market every day. Every day, if I owned a mine, I'm selling coins every day. Every day. So
Right.
there's a natural seller. There is not as many natural buyers now because the natural buyers, unfortunately, bought higher and they're getting their head handed to them.
And the reason we differ on opinion, and we do differ on opinion, there's no doubt about that, comes down to the numbers. How many coins are being made a day? How fragmented is the buying industry? How easy is it for them to be corralled? And what is the cost of production? Because if the cost of production is as high as you say it is, then the industry has to consolidate on the mining side.
Well, I think that the miners or energy producers or whatever they're doing, they're not making money. And on a day like today, where Bitcoin is down basically 1,000 points on 7, it's almost down 25%. You have just blown yourself out of business because your margins aren't even there anymore, and you're underwater. So
Agreed.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens in this space. I will tell you, I had dinner with some friends last night, and they're involved in a coin which I'm not going to mention, but we talk about every day. And
it's the Whopper coin. Let's be honest.
I've watched this coin go from 12 to $1. Okay, and now it's back to 3. It traded 5 2 days ago. It's the Wild West. But the people that are long this coin think it's going to, I don't know the number, but it's a number with a lot of zeros, 10,000. It's trading at 2. So it's actually the most absurd thing that I've ever seen. But it's interesting to look at because it really, as a concept, could fail. It could fail because, it's being used for illegal gambling, drugs. It's not really a means for payment.
What's in your wallet, Hugo Chavez?
Exactly. It's funny. A guy who I used to trade with for years and years and years, and we were partners, and we sat together and we reconnected for lunch. Couple of days ago, he became a professional poker player, and he was long Bitcoin in the hundreds. And the reason why is because that was the form of transporting money for poker players or illegal gambling.
Yeah.
So he got lucky because he was long a boatload of that because it was dirt cheap. And
they were using it for transfer purposes. They weren't speculating on it.
No,
it was like taking your poker chips and using them as cash in another casino. Same idea.
That's a lot of the traffic. But again, I am not claiming to be an expert in crypto in any way. The guys in our room are in it every day of their life. They know it pretty well, but it's interesting because I've really been following it, and it's a real saga, and it's not, if this thing gets to 4,000, 3,000, it is going to be one of the biggest wipeouts in the history of anything. So.
Exactly. And the technology is good. There will be a replacement for the technology. And I think this is the point of a spear where you're going to start seeing Amazon coins and decentralization will continue. But, Bitcoin is regulated now.
It's not good for the world. It's I don't see it regulated at all. I see more of this stuff trading overseas. It's like kind of having one currency, okay, for the entire world.
Well, Larry, all right, I'm gonna add to that. It is almost impossible to globally regulate, and what we are seeing right now is a war between technology overcoming regulatory attempts to overreach boundaries, and how that ends, I don't know. It probably ends with the wall being built around us, a little bit of paranoia, and a domestic crypto fiat, which basically is a coupon. You can use your coupons at Amazon, your crypto coupons at Amazon, and Best Buy will have to accept them. But Bitcoin will end up being demonized like gold has, as the tool of people that are hiding money or avoiding taxes. When in reality, it does have, it removes nation state boundaries, and nation states can have that.
It sounds scary and interesting, but
it's a brave new world, and I'm looking for a rock to hide under.
It's an interesting world, and
by the way, initial claims came out. Expected 213, came in at 203. What is the S&P doing on that, Larry?
Nothing. Actually faded off the highs. Actually, as we speak, oil is on the high tick, or actually a
Right.
tick off the high. S&P faded here, which is shocking. I think a little bit of NASDAQ heaviness. NASDAQ remains heavy. If the NASDAQ gets wiped a little today, I might buy it for a scalp trade, a quick trade. But overall, I don't see much. I will tell you, I was looking at the straddle, the 90 straddle, and
Right.
it's pricey. Obviously, we have a full day today, and then you have non-farm on Friday, but it's $15, which is pretty high for that.
Plus, even though yesterday was the alleged deadline for the Chinese tariff impositions, for some reason today's a more important day because there's public sentiment. Yeah, you have to read about it. I mean, I can read it for you because why should we make our subscribers deal with nonsense like that? We'll deal with it for them. Basically, let me just read the thing. Oh, tariffs. Okay. All right. President Donald Trump expected to act on the measures soon after the deadline passes. Okay, the deadline passed. With the president of the campaign trail hitting China with more tariffs. Okay, elsewhere
is
on trade.
today
Okay.
is yesterday the
The
deadline
deadline
or
was
tonight?
yesterday.
Oh, it
That's
is?
the point. But
Okay.
nothing happened. So there's look for progress in NAFTA over the next few days. That's number one. Number two, the tariff. Although yesterday was the deadline, nothing was done because they're extending the ability of people to weigh in for a day. I don't know what it means, but basically they're just saying we own the call for another day to do something. That's what it looks like. So sorry, I can't be more specific, but that's because when you have a White House that says things like huge and many and a lot, it starts to turn my brain off. That's it.
I get that. One good note is today is opening day for the NFL. You got Eagles Falcons tonight. I think a couple of the Eagles are down. They're down some players. I think Jeffries is out and Wentz isn't playing. So it should be a good game, but I'm excited for that tonight. I'll be watching it with my youngest son. I wish I was with all my kids watching it. My oldest might come over, but I'm excited about that. And then I just wanted to quickly go over our schedule, which is really becoming full and is really, really great and great information going across these webinars. First at 9 o'clock is Joe Vaklovic. He's our grain expert along with Angie, and he's coming on today to give a grain overview. And then at 9:45, I have Tony Greer, our equity expert, who I mentioned a couple of times. I'd like to catch back up with him on his Nike short and what's going on these cannabis, or as you say, the pot stocks. So they've been going haywire. So I'd like to get
pot of gold, Larry. It's not marijuana.
And I'm interested to hear what he has to say. And then at 10:05, we have Phil Flynn, our resident expert across the future space, mostly in oil. So I'm sure he'll be talking about the number that's going to be released today.
Phil's a macro oil stud. I would pay attention to him for what it's worth.
Phil is awesome, and I've known him for 25 years. And then I have Andy LeBeau from Commodity Research Group, who after every number, which is usually Wednesday, but since the holiday is Monday, it's going to be today, Thursday. Andy LeBeau will come on from Commodity Research Group and talk about the number, go through it, and really give great insight into the number. And then at 11:30, this is crazy. It's like nonstop action from us. I have Bryn Kelly coming on from the Fundamental Angle discussing energy markets as well. So we'll have the energy space covered pretty well today. Hopefully there'll be a good trade in there. And then one of my oldest friends who knows me from the days of the floor, Jay Collins, will be coming on from the Treen Group. and he'll be discussing stuff about trading on the floor, how it's changed. He is still on the floor. He's still operating, doing business down there. He operates out of the S&P option and future pit, and he did business for me literally in the 80s. I think we started together.
Wait,
so
he handled your order flow?
I traded with him probably when I started doing a 5-lot back.
The poor guy.
Yeah,
the poor guy.
I already told him he can't. Actually, I'll let him. I'll let him tell some Benny stories today, so you guys will get to know me from the old days. I'm very nice right now. I wasn't that nice years ago, but I'm at a different phase, and I'm looking at things in a different way. But back then it was an all-out war. It could never be.
If any of your kids are listening, make sure they're listening to that and call in your questions to find out what your dad was really like.
I got days of stories of that would make your head spin. But overall, we have a good lineup here. I'm going to spend a little bit of time today. I'm going to look at these FANGs. I'm going to be trading them.
Hey, Larry, FANG question. Seriously, keeping this in mind, we're a month off the highs if you take Apple and Amazon out of the rest of the FANGs. If people are rotating within the FANG index and the FANGs come off and you would be looking to buy, would you be looking to buy, and there's no gun to your head here, I know things change. Would you be looking to buy the things hurt the most or the things that held up the best in the sell-off?
It depends on time frame.
It always depends. But I'm just trying to understand your mindset.
It depends on time frame. It would depend. I, for a trade, would want to buy the stocks that are stronger, that become a little bit weaker. If I was positioning, I would buy weaker ones and sell stronger ones. So, it's tough, but for trading purposes, I would.
No, that's cool. That's good to know.
I would buy, I would buy the stocks that act better in the tape relative to the others. And
so it's a fluid thing. You got to be in the chat room to see what's going on.
I know a lot of guys around the community, a lot of guys that I would call them day traders, but just really talented traders. That's what they do. That's what they do for a living. I was partners years ago with a guy named Steven Schoenfeld, and he has a whole firm. Now he's much more quant, but
I know Steve.
So but he still has guys that trade, and that's their mantra. They're buying strength, they're selling weakness, they're trying to find stocks that are moving up. That's what I try to do. That's what I've always done, and it's worked well. And on the equity side, it's pretty good. You just have to find the stocks that are moving, because you want to be in and out of that stuff in a day, and then reassess. But overall, FANG looks kind of quiet. They're all up small. The NASDAQ futures don't act well. I would like to buy them if they whip them down here. So I'm gonna look to maybe buy a little bit if they whip them down. And again, if it's trading higher, I'd like to be a seller of that and a buyer of S&P. I think that trade lasts more than just yesterday. So I'd look to do that. And overall, I don't see much. Volatility is not moving too much. The thing that's interesting in volatility, which we discuss every day, is the term structure. Going out to Dece, we have a 16 vol. So
it's very steep. It's steep.
So
it's steep, and pay attention is what that means. That's what it means.
Yeah, and the big event is obviously the election, and I think Trump gets wiped out.
Right.
We'll see how that plays out. And overall, today, since we've been on the phone, the S&P hasn't had a $2 range, which is, not a lot. But once we get rolling,
it's because we've been on the phone. You understand that, right?
Exactly.
When we get off the phone, it'll have a 10 handle range. And I'll buy the high, and you'll buy the low, and that's how it works.
You're on the phone, I'm on the air. I get to be on the air.
Hey, Larry, I just got a news flash across the tape. One of your children is getting married soon, and he said, "Dear Dad, I don't want Bitcoin for a wedding gift anymore. I don't know. You have to. You have to interpret that.
And that is the same kid that was like, listen, we got to be long Bitcoin. So he's no different than any other trader. But
Did he really say that?
What? No.
Did he really say that?
He did not. No.
Oh, congratulations! Here's your wedding gift. Your long Bitcoin $1,000 higher. Good luck, kid.
I will tell you a funny story. So he had a little bit of savings money that I put away from him for him when he was younger, and that money was 100% in equities. So he did pretty well, and he turned a certain age. I gave him the money, and it was in the account. And this is going back to January of this year, and he made a sale, sold the whole thing, went to 100% cash. And this is funny because it tells you how the market is. So he sells it. Literally, that was the high of the move. We came into February, we had the debacle.
Genius.
He's dancing around saying how smart he is, right? Well, now we're making way higher highs, and he's totally in cash. So now he wants back in. So that's the game, and that's how it works. And
I'm going to defend him. You ready? I'm going to defend him. But Dad, the dollar is so much stronger. I'm going overseas and I'm buying a cement factory in India now. Suck on that. It's like he's going to have an answer for everything. He's no dummy, I'm sure.
No, he's a good boy, and that's it. Overall, just scouring back over the market. There's really bonds turned positive. They were slightly negative, but not even a 10-tick move. Quiet out there. Again, I like the S&P. I think it could trade up here. I do not have a long. I want to do maybe some intermarket spreading between NASDAQ and S&P. We're going to keep an eye on the FANG stocks. They're not really moving too much, but a good trade today, good setup trade today that I would think would look interesting is the NASDAQ, it's 5-6 higher. It was just 9 higher. But if NASDAQ pops down like 20, 25, 30 points, to basically fade that down move and be a buyer of that, for a quick scalp to the positive. But again, that setup isn't setting up right now. But if it does, that's, something that our community could take advantage of, as well as, I like this S&P NASDAQ spread for, a couple of more days. Although I will tell you, we've been in that trade a couple of times this year, and we've done okay, but we haven't been able to stay in that for more than 2 days. So that trend keeps coming back to NASDAQ. It's an easier thing for them to buy. It's stocks that are moving a lot faster and a lot easier. So, it's going to be interesting. Today will be an interesting day. The S&P.
There is headline risk, as always, that we don't even know about anymore. Now that the Teflon is off of Musk with the op-ed about Trump, who knows how erratic things can get. And
the one takeaway as a market observer, to me, and it goes to the mantra of what we were talking about, having a strong market inside of markets that are weak. So what it tells you as a trader or somebody that's looking to be involved in a day over day, minute over minute basis is that this market is the strongest market in the world. And it can go down. Like yesterday, it did go down. So the S&P yesterday ended down like 8 points, and the DAX ended down 200. So that's what you're seeing. You're seeing, China go down 2% and we're going up or flat. So it's the best market to be long out of the markets out there. It doesn't mean you want to be long it, because if you catch a day like yesterday and it goes down intraday 20 handles, you're not feeling too good. But it overall looks strong.
I hate to admit this as a person who wants to end the Fed, but we've got the best bankers out there. So when the contagion does hit our shores, I'm sure we'll do something to protect ourselves quicker than other countries can protect themselves. And that goes to your point.
Yeah, I find us to be like the bully in high school. Like with a bully in high school that would bully someone, and then all of a sudden, if
Oh yeah.
somebody punched him in the face, the bully would run away. I don't think we're real. I think we're paper. I think, like you're saying, we have the best bankers and we have the best system, and yeah, we
By
do.
bankers, I
But
mean
we
best people who manipulate monetary policy.
right. I mean, we're listen. Perception is 9/10 of the law. So the
Yeah.
perception is that we are, and we are. I mean, because there's not a lot out there. But overall, I don't know. What power it is without hedge funds and without mutual funds and without cash sloshing around in the markets. And nobody can keep this thing going.
Right.
So
When smart people like David Einhorn, who trade on fundamentals, a guy that I met who was down the hall from me when he was starting Greenlight Capital, can't make money and are honest about it, you got to ask yourself, maybe I should just be trading FX because that's a lot harder to cook the books on than it is stocks.
well, listen, I think listen, I'm not saying anything positive, negative. Obviously, the guy's a huge moneymaker.
These are my opinions, not yours.
No,
You know
I
that.
understand, but I'm saying, maybe he just misjudged, market cap analysis and earnings analysis, and
Maybe Buffett didn't take his call, because I know he's close with Buffett.
he did.
Oh yeah, they're close. He's close with Buffett. I'll show you some pictures. I was interviewed by his wife for Barrons a couple of years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's nothing sorted, but it's the real deal. It's all part of the power broker thing. Hey, I want to do a shout out to Mike and actually Greg on the FX side. I am getting a signal to sell the lira. I will not be acting on it. I will be watching it because the system is not optimized for the lira. You should be short the lira at 655. By you, I mean the royal U, with a stop at 659. Very tight, but you'll be right or wrong in an hour.
Bid offer, for God's sakes.
Exactly.
You're already stopped out. You put it on and you're
exactly.
stopped out. What do you mean?
And I'm back in, and I'm out, and I'm in, and I'm out. And my broker loves me, Larry.
Vince,
My broker
awesome.
loves me. Okay?
Actually, you brighten my day. You're putting that market was quoted in like 30 full figure increments.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks ago, you couldn't even get a market for half a handle.
It's flat. Exactly. It's flatlining. It's flatlining.
That's awesome.
Okay, I'll tell you what.
I will tell you what. For our audience out there, do not do that trade.
Do not do that. I'm not doing it. Don't do that trade. All right, Larry, for a dollar.
I'm in. Listen.
Here's the bet. And I think you'll like this. This is fun stuff. $1 has to be signed by the loser and given to the winner in a frame. The frame's going to be worth more than $1. And I'll give you my wide berth. Below, if you short the lira on paper right now at 655.60.
I'm writing it down.
Okay, cool.
I'm writing it down in my
with a stop out of
blue. I don't know if you guys can see my little blue notebook, but I'm writing it down in my notebook.
Here's the negation of the signal.
I'm actually going to give it a full page here.
You should just buy it if I'm saying sell it right now. I feel like Gartman lately.
No,
okay,
listen to me. I'm not debating the trade. I'm debating the stop. That's all. I think.
Oh, here's the stop. No, you're right. Well, I've got multiple stops, and the stop that I'm going to, the first stop is 658. That would be like your soft stop, which, like you said, is the bid ask.
658.
The stop is six. No. The stop I'm giving you to be right or wrong on the day is 664. Short at 656 with a 664 stop. And we're lower today. If you
get stopped out, I get a signed dollar I can put up.
You get a signed, framed dollar to put on the back of your desk to say, see this asshole? He lost. That's all. Or I give you a check that you can never cash for $1. That's conversation stuff, man. I'd rather have $1 signed by you as losing than $10,000.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I don't know if Mike has me on the front or the back right now. I have no idea, but.
You don't have a bald spot. You look fine.
I do.
No, you don't. You look fine. You don't have a bald spot.
But I have the scrub daddy. So if I win that dollar, I'm going to put it on my desk next to the scrub daddy, which my kid.
There you go. Done.
So that's what we're going to do. I expect to have the dollar FedEx to me. I'll give you my account number by later today.
All right, just tell me the type of frame you want if I'm wrong,
That's
and I'll
awesome.
put it in there.
That is
That's the way to
awesome.
do it.
No,
That's the way to do it.
definitely, and I'm gonna send it out to you.
There you go.
Pointing out markets just quickly. Oil just almost traded 69. We have the number today. It looks a little bit firm. What's interesting is the S&P is back trying to make a new high here. Shockingly, if I point to my board, I don't know if Mike can send it here, but are you switching it? I don't know if anyone can see it, but they're both, the blue lines are the high. They're both exactly the same amount off the high. So it's computer algo trading at its greatest. 3 ticks off the high on both markets. So I just want to point that out. There's not a lot going on today. I'm going to wrap it up unless you have
Hey, give me
anything
the
else
prices,
to add.
Larry, because I want to make sure we don't have an out trade when you pay me that dollar.
I got 655 and your stop
You're
is at
fading me. Is it really that? Okay, 655 is entry, right?
And I don't know where it is, Mike. Do you have it up? The
Yeah, that's fine. It's 656 and change.
Oh, it is? Okay. And then
Yeah.
664 is your stop out. But where are you taking profits? Because that's where I pay you the
Okay,
dollar.
I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give it to you. All right, 655, 664 is the stop. So 655, 664. So take that multiplied times 1.5, and that's your target.
Which
So
is, I'm not
I'm
that
supposed to
smart.
be good at math. I don't have my HP12C handy right now. 65, 64. So it's 9. So it's 14. Subtract 14 from 655. 643. I say it trades 643 before it trades 664. There you go. And that's our bet.
Yeah, okay. You're going to get I don't know, you're allowed to sign currency? Is that defacing the dollar?
No, okay. We're not recommending anyone deface U.S. currency. I'd be happy to make a check out to cash and say in the note, I lost. Larry's right. And I expect the same in return if I'm right.
I mean, this is classic footage right here. We got to archive this. All right, so we're on. We got the bet. Overall in the market, S&P up 3, NASDAQ up 7.5. Bonds are slightly higher. I'm not really quite sure why. Oil, which traded crazy to the upside early in the week, can't catch a bid, trading up about 16 cents. And that's how we leave you. I may come back before the opening, but we're only about 20 minutes away. If there are any changes, I'll be back before the opening. And any final thoughts?
No, but there's so much data coming out. I would strongly advise people to stay in the chat room as long as they can, because in between numbers, we have plenty of content on tap today. There you go.
All right, Vince, good luck today, and good luck in your Turkish lira.
Oh, good luck. You're going to need it, Larry. I'm telling you.
I definitely will. I'm just going to put an alert on my. I don't want.
When I win, that's the wedding gift to your son. Okay, along with the 3,000 Bitcoin that you bought him at 20,000.
Exactly. Although, wait, I was the only one that paid 20,000. The high is 19,000. How did I get to 20,000?
It was OTC, man. Goldman told you.
Exactly.
You ran the.
That's like it's like all the fills I get.
It's all the fills I get.
Well, that leaves me just one comment before I shut down here. Jay Collins will be on later, and one of the classic floor things was they would take out the low, and you're a floor guy, so you would know. So I would buy S&P, let's say at 92. Okay,
yeah,
it would be the dead low of the day. Okay,
right.
And they would call me like 3 hours after the low when it was trading much higher, and they go, "Listen, that trade is no good. They took the low of the day out. You have to take 95. Yeah. So I'm like, what?
The fast market light was on. Your price has been raised to something.
What do you mean? 2 hours later, they took the low out. But anyway, those are stories. Those are war stories. I'm going to go.
I got plenty too. I know the audience may not want to, but maybe a throwback Thursday on how we used to mutilate people for positions on the floor might be in order.
Okay.
I know the crowds were crazy.
I'm always ready for that. But you know what? I haven't traded in a little bit here. Oil is just ticking above 69. Look to maybe fade up at the 69.20 level.
I hope you make $10,000 today trading, and I hope you lose $1 to me.
Good. I
May
better make
may
more than
God be
I better
with you,
make more
Larry.
than $10,000 today. So we're gonna go for a little bit more than that. I won't
Oh,
say
that's it.
exactly
That's
what
it. Be
that is,
greedy.
but we will do that, and I will win $1 hopefully later. It may not come today. Maybe it'll come tomorrow. Anyway, good
All right.
luck.